Traffic inspector wrote a fine. Then the millionaire rolled down the window and everything changed. The moment Officer Acosta placed the ticket under the windshield wiper of the silver Aston Martin, she had no idea she had just written a sentence in someone else's story. Before we start the story, write in the comments from which part of the world you're watching today. The sun was already high over Avenida Reforma, but in her uniform, Officer Isabel Acosta didn't feel the heat. She moved with quiet certainty, not fast, not slow, just the way someone does when they've learned the rules matter most when no one is watching. The Aston Martin stood sleek and defiant under a no parking sign. Every other car had been moved by now. The sweep team had passed through half an hour ago. Only this one remained, parked like it owned the city. She checked the license plate, personalized. 5 letters, something arrogant. She took out her pad, pressed pen to paper. That's when she heard the door click open. A man stepped out, expensive sunglasses, casual but unmistakably tailored jacket, the kind of man who smelled like old money and newer power. "You're writing me a ticket?" he asked, not angry, just confused, like it had never occurred to him he could be on the receiving end of the law. Isabel didn't look up. "You're parked illegally." "Right," he said slowly. "But do you know who I am?" She met his gaze now. Calm, not rude, just unshaken. "No," she said, "and it doesn't change the fine." He blinked. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe even admiration. But she wasn't looking anymore. She slid the ticket under the wiper and turned. She walked away before he could finish saying, "Rafael Perez, my father." The name landed behind her like a rock in water. It meant something. She knew it did. She just didn't care. Later, back at the precinct, her partner teased her. "You ticketed that Rafael Perez?" He whistled low. "You're brave. Or just doing my job." "Same thing when it's him." She ignored it, went back to her paperwork. But that night, after dinner with her mother and sister, she looked up the name. Not out of curiosity, just to confirm what she already suspected. Rafael Perez, CEO in waiting of Grupo Perez Internacional. Hotels, banks, transportation. A last name so heavy it could crush someone who wasn't careful. She closed the browser. It didn't matter. She hadn't done anything wrong. The next morning, Rafael returned. But not in the Aston Martin. This time he walked into the small, overlit government building like he didn't belong there. Because he didn't. The woman at the front desk called Isabel. She came out, already expecting an argument. Or worse. Instead, Rafael smiled. "I came to pay my ticket," he said. She narrowed her eyes. "You can pay online." "I know," he said. "But then I wouldn't get a second chance to offer you a coffee." Silence stretched between them. Long enough that the receptionist lifted her head, pretending not to listen. "I'm working," Isabel said, but her voice wasn't hard, not like before. He nodded. "Then I'll wait." He didn't wait long. She didn't let him. They stepped outside. Just for 5 minutes. "Why are you really here?" she asked. Rafael smiled again, but this time it didn't reach his eyes. "Because I haven't stopped thinking about someone who treated me like a person. Not a last name. Not a company. That's not reason enough. It's the only one that felt honest." She looked at him. For a second, the city sounds dropped away. The horns, the whistles, the constant hum of Mexico City's chaos. He looked tired, she noticed. Not the kind of tired money could fix. "I'm not the kind of woman who dates the kind of man you are," she said. "And what kind of man am I?" She didn't answer, but she didn't walk away either. That night, she sat on her rooftop with a mug of hot coffee, watching the lights of the city blink in and out like stars caught in smog. She thought about what her mother had said years ago. People who grow up with everything don't know what real honesty costs. And when they find it, they either run or cling to it like it's oxygen. The next time Raphael saw her, it wasn't at the precinct. It was at a small cafe in Colonia, Roma, where she always went for lunch. He was already seated, waiting, not confident, not smug, just there. "You followed me," she said, sitting across from him. "No," he said. "I followed the feeling I had when I walked away from you, and it led here." She laughed once, short and surprised. "That's either the worst line I've heard," she said, "or the truest." "Can it be both?" he asked. "Here are places powerful men never go alone. Government buildings, crowded cafes, traffic offices." Rafael Perez had now been to all three, and always for the same woman. The second time Rafael came to the precinct, no one questioned him. Word had spread. The officers pretended not to stare. Some whispered, others just raised eyebrows. He moved differently than the first time, less like a man in control, more like someone who had something to lose. Isabel was in the back, reviewing reports. Her partner nudged her. "He's here again." She didn't look up. "Let him wait." "He brought flowers." Now she looked up. Raphael stood near the front counter, holding a single sunflower. Not roses. Not some predictable bouquet. A sunflower, tall, unashamed, oddly cheerful. He saw her, and despite the fluorescent lighting and uncomfortable stares, he smiled. "I'm not interrupting, am I?" he asked as she approached. "You are," she said plainly. "But not in a way that bothers me." He handed her the flower without a word. She didn't take it right away. When she finally did, it was slow, almost reluctant. "You know this looks ridiculous, right?" she said. "I do." "And you're okay with that?" He nodded. "Apparently." She studied him again. There was something off about him today. Not his appearance. That was flawless, as always. But something underneath. The way he kept adjusting his sleeves. The way his jaw clenched for no reason. "Is something wrong?" she asked. He hesitated. "My father's in the hospital." The words hung there. "Is it serious?" "It's always serious with him. He's complicated." A pause. "I'm not here to talk about him. I didn't know where else I wanted to be." The honesty in that hit her in a way she didn't expect. She motioned toward the back door. 5 minutes." They sat on a bench near the side lot. Isabel rested the sunflower on her lap. Neither spoke at first. "You keep showing up," she finally said. "I keep thinking about you," he answered, eyes on the cracked pavement. "Not like a fantasy. Not like something I want to win. Just you. As you are. That's a lot to put on someone you barely know." "I know." She turned the flower in her fingers. "You're not used to people saying no to you. I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up. But it's true. It is." She nodded, then, "So what happens now? You keep visiting until I agree to a coffee?" "No," he said. "I already had one. I'm here to return the favor." She laughed, despite herself. "You really think you're charming." "I think I'm transparent," he replied. "You're the one who's hard to read." "Good," she said. "It means I'm doing my job right." Later that week, he appeared again, but not at her precinct. This time, he was seated alone at the cafe in Colonia, Roma. Her cafe, not the fancy type. No valet, no imported water. Just 2 grumpy waiters, a humming fan, and a decent tamal. She spotted him instantly. Her instinct was to walk away. Instead, she walked toward him. "You're invading my space now," she said. "I'm asking for 10 minutes of it." She didn't sit. Not yet. He ordered her coffee without asking. Got it right. No sugar, a touch of cinnamon. "Fine," she said, lowering herself into the chair. 10 minutes. They drank in silence. The city moved outside. A child ran by laughing. An old man sold newspapers no one wanted. A car alarm screamed for no reason. Then Isabel broke the silence. You know what bothers me? What? You could disappear tomorrow and it wouldn't affect your life. But if I let someone like you in, everything could change. I won't disappear. You say that like it's in your control. It is. She leaned back, arms crossed. Tell me something true, Raphael. Something ugly. He looked at her, eyes steady. I've been pretending to be someone impressive for so long, I'm not sure who I am when I'm not performing. She blinked. That's not what I expected. It's what you asked for. She nodded. All right. My turn. He waited. I sometimes wonder if people only see the badge, not the woman. And when I take it off, I don't always know who's left either. That silence again, but this time it wasn't uncomfortable. It settled between them like shared weight. A week passed. Then two. They didn't see each other. No calls, no visits. Then one afternoon, she found a note taped to the inside of her locker at work. Still thinking about you. Same cafe, same time. No expectations. She almost ignored it. But the next day, she showed up. Raphael was there reading something handwritten. A letter, maybe. He looked up, startled, then smiled. Didn't think you'd come. I didn't either. Sit? She sat. No small talk, no flirting. Just a strange, growing sense that maybe, just maybe, something was happening neither of them could stop. The third time they sat across from each other, it didn't feel like a coincidence anymore. It felt like something quietly choosing to stay. The air in the cafe smelled of cinnamon, black coffee, and something slightly burnt from the kitchen. A fan spun lazily overhead, and outside, the city roared on, unbothered, unchanged. But inside, at a small table by the window, two people sat across from each other, quietly rearranging the shape of their worlds. Isabel stirred her coffee even though she never added sugar. Raphael watched her, not with intensity, but with patience. He had stopped pushing, stopped trying to impress. He was just present. Do you always carry paper books? She asked, nodding at the worn novel beside his espresso. It slows me down, he replied. Screens rush me. She raised an eyebrow. That's a strange thing to say for a man who signs digital contracts worth millions. I said I signed them, he smiled. I didn't say I trust them. There it was again, that odd duality. A man who lived in glass towers but longed for something with dirt under its nails, something real. I didn't grow up with books, Isabel said. My mother barely finished high school. Everything I know I learned from watching, listening, staying quiet. Not quiet now. That's new. He sipped his espresso. Good. You're interesting when you speak. She smiled, but it was cautious. Then, why do you keep coming here? Raphael looked down, then out the window. Because this place feels like it doesn't owe anyone anything, and neither do you. A long pause followed. You know I'm not interested in becoming some project for you to feel better about your life, she said. I'm not interested in fixing you, he replied. I'm interested in understanding you. And if you don't like what you find, then at least I saw it for what it was. She looked at him, searching for a lie. Found none. In the following weeks, they met again, not on a schedule, not with any plan. It just kept happening. Sometimes they talked politics, sometimes family. Other times, nothing at all. Just sat in comfortable silence, letting the noise of the world cover the silence inside them. One afternoon, as rain tapped against the cafe windows, Raphael asked, What happened to your father? Isabel stiffened. She looked down at her hands. Her nails were short, unpolished. He left, she said finally, when I was 12. Said he'd come back. Never did. I'm sorry. I'm not. It made me strong. You shouldn't have had to be. She nodded quietly. And your mother? He asked. Tired, Isabel said. She works cleaning offices, still. She wanted me to become someone people listened to. The badge was her idea, not mine. And now? Now I wear it because someone has to. Raphael leaned forward. That's a lot of weight to carry. Isabel met his eyes. I carry it well. He believed her. Another day, she asked him, Do you even like what you do? He looked up, surprised. No one ever asks me that. I'm not everyone. I know. He thought for a moment, then said, Some days I feel like I'm building sand castles. The tide always comes, but I keep building. So stop. I don't know who I am without the building. That's the problem, she said quietly. He nodded slowly. One night, as they parted ways on the street, Raphael stopped walking. Wait, he said. She turned. I don't want to make a mistake with you. Isabel blinked. You already did. You parked illegally. He laughed. I'm serious. So am I. That's how we met. He took a slow breath. Do you think it's possible for someone like me to be seen for who I really am? She considered the question, then answered, That depends. On what? On whether you're brave enough to see yourself first? 2 days later, Raphael didn't show up at the cafe. 3 more days passed. Nothing. No message, no visit, no sunflower. Isabel told herself she didn't care. She was too old for romantic flutters, too grounded for daydreams. And yet, she checked the cafe window more than once that week. She even walked past his building in Polanco once by accident, or maybe not. It wasn't until the 6th day that she found a folded piece of paper on her usual cafe table, left between the salt shaker and the napkin holder. Her name was written on the outside. Inside, in clean handwriting, it said, I had to disappear for a few days. Family. I didn't want to vanish the way people in my life usually do. I'll be back. I hope you will, too. She folded the note and put it in her jacket pocket. When the waiter asked if she wanted her usual, she said yes. And she waited. Love doesn't announce itself like thunder. It enters quietly, through dinner tables and hospital rooms, revealing what masks cannot hide. The first time Raphael stepped into Isabel's neighborhood, he did it with his hands in his pockets and eyes alert. This was not the kind of place you drove through in an Aston Martin. He had left it parked far away, took a taxi, and walked the last few blocks. It wasn't fear. It was respect. The building was old, beige walls bruised by time. Children shouting in the stairwell, someone arguing loudly in a unit below. He checked the address twice. Apartment number 4. He knocked. Isabel opened the door wearing jeans, an oversized sweatshirt, and eyes that said, You're late. You didn't say it was a family dinner, Raphael said, half smiling. I didn't want to give you time to prepare a speech. He looked past her. The smell of mold drifted into the hallway. Inside, her mother was setting the table with careful hands. Her younger sister, Carmen, was painting her nails at the kitchen counter and barely looked up. Ma, Isabel said, this is Raphael. Her mother turned, nodded. So, the famous driver. Raphael held out his hand. I promise I've parked legally tonight. Her mother didn't laugh, but her lips twitched. You eat everything? She asked, leading him to the table. I try. You'll need to. They sat. The conversation was polite, then sharp, then quiet again. Carmen rolled her eyes more than she spoke. Isabel's mother asked too many questions. Raphael answered them all, but not like a man being interrogated, more like someone grateful to be seen. Isabel watched him closely. He didn't flinch at the chipped plates or the noise from the window. He listened when her mother talked about cleaning the same law office for 12 years. He even complimented Carmen's choice in nail color. After dinner, Carmen pulled Isabel aside. "He's weirdly polite," she whispered. "That's either fake or dangerous," Isabel sighed. "Or real." Carmen gave her a long look. "Be careful." The next day, Isabel waited. This time, it was her turn to enter his world. Hospital air is always too clean. The smell of antiseptic clung to the walls, but beneath it lingered something older. Money, control, exhaustion. She hated every step of the marble hallway leading to the private suite. A nurse nodded and opened the door. Inside, silence, save for the slow beep of machines. Raphael stood at the window. His father lay in the bed, not asleep, not awake, but somewhere in between. "He won't speak to me," Raphael said without turning. "Hasn't, in months. The doctors say the stroke took more than his words." Isabel said nothing. "My whole life he told me emotions were weakness. That love was a luxury for people with nothing to protect. And now here we are. He can't speak and I don't know what to say." She stepped closer. "Then don't say anything," she offered. "Just sit. Let him know you stayed." He looked at her, really looked, and then he did. He sat. Later in the hallway, she asked, "Why bring me here?" "I wanted you to see where I come from." "And this?" She nodded toward the hospital room. "This is where you come from?" "It's part of it," he said. "The other part is still trying to unlearn everything that room taught me." Isabel didn't answer. Not right away. Then she said, "We both live with ghosts. Yours wear suits. Mine wear silence." He nodded. They didn't speak on the drive back. He didn't offer to drop her off. She didn't invite him up. But something had shifted. Not in their words, in their weight. They had seen each other's homes now, and homes say things we're not brave enough to admit. Days passed. Their meetings became routine without becoming dull. At the cafe, they talked about Isabel's father, how he left, how no one chased him. "He just vanished?" Raphael asked. "Sometimes abandonment isn't dramatic," she said. "It's quiet, like someone forgetting your name in their mouth." "And do you miss him?" "No," she said too fast, then added, "Only the version I made up." He nodded. "I understand that." "How?" "I've built better versions of my father in my head, too." They drank in silence. Then Isabel asked, "What are we doing?" Raphael looked up. "Talking. I mean this, us, these meetings, these looks." He breathed out slowly. "I don't know. I didn't come to fix you or rescue you. But you make me want to stay when I usually leave." "Stay as what?" "As a man who's trying." She looked away, unsure what to do with the softness in her chest. "Okay," she said. Just that. One night, back at home, Carmen found her staring out the window, sunflower wilting in a glass of tap water nearby. "Do you love him?" she asked. Isabel didn't answer. Then, "Not yet." "But you could." Isabel looked at her sister. "That's what scares me." Some truths need altitude, as if the only way to say them is to stand above the world they were hiding in. It was still dark when Isabel reached the base of the Orlina overlook. She had never been here this early. The city below was still a scatter of sleeping lights and distant hums, like it hadn't fully decided to wake. She checked her phone. No messages, no missed calls. A part of her thought he wouldn't come. The more dangerous part hoped he would. Then she heard footsteps behind her. Calm, steady, familiar. Raphael, no suit, no driver, no mask, just jeans, a wool jacket, a thermos in one hand, a folded blanket in the other. You came, she said. I said I would. They didn't hug, didn't kiss. Just walked together toward the railing where the city began to show itself. Buildings like shadows, roads like veins, and sky like a lid just starting to open. He poured hot chocolate into 2 small mugs. Not coffee? She teased. Too bitter for this hour. They sat on the blanket in silence, wrapped in a chill that didn't ask permission. He handed her a mug. Their fingers brushed, and she didn't pull away. This is the first time I've seen you outside your roles, Raphael said. No badge, no uniform, just you. I almost didn't come, she admitted. Why? Because I wasn't sure if I was doing it for me or for you. And now? Now I think I'm doing it for both of us. He nodded, his breath visible in the cold. I've spent most of my life building walls I pretended were windows, he said. I thought if I had enough success, I'd stop feeling like a child pretending to be a man. Did it work? No. Raphael took a sip of chocolate, then stared out across the city. You made me realize something. When you gave me that ticket, you didn't treat me like a name. You treated me like someone accountable. It was terrifying and freeing. Isabel didn't respond right away. Then, you know what I was most afraid of? He turned to her. That you'd see me, the woman behind the badge, and decide it wasn't enough. I saw you, he said softly, and it was the first time I wanted to be seen back. A gust of wind brushed past them. The sky began to change, streaks of orange and soft violet blooming behind the distant mountains. The city came into focus below like a secret slowly revealed. She turned to him. I'm not promising a fairy tale, she said. I'm not asking for one, he replied. I'm asking for breakfast. She laughed. A real laugh, not sharp, not measured. It warmed the morning more than the chocolate. All right, she said. But no driver. No driver. No tablecloths. Only if there's salsa. They sat quietly as the sun finally climbed into view. It wasn't a declaration. It wasn't a vow. It was just a beginning. And for once, that was enough. Monday, late morning. The cafe was half full. Usual crowd. Isabel entered in plain clothes, jeans, black shirt, loose hair. Raphael was already there, 1 mug in front of him. He stood when he saw her. No badge, he asked. No armor, she corrected. They sat. He smiled. What should we talk about today? She looked at him, and for the first time she didn't see a rich man. She didn't see the headlines. She saw someone trying. She answered, let's talk about what's real.